Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The sun hung low over the Los Angeles skyline, creating lengthy shadows across Beverly Hills' busy streets. It was Wednesday, October 29th, 2025, and the air had a crisp fall taste that hinted at change on the horizon. In the sumptuous Spencer Publications building, which stood like a monument to ambition and luxury, Liam Spencer walked the marble-floored lobby with the restless energy of a man on the verge of discovery. His heart hammered, not from the boardroom confrontations he was used to, but from the weight of words he couldn't hold back. "I hope, Logan." The word itself was a symphony in his mind, a melody of lost years, stolen moments, and a love that refused to fade no matter how many storms life threw at them. Liam's fingers fidgeted with the small velvet box in his pocket, which contained not only a ring but also a promise. He had proposed to her again last night, under the gentle glow of string lights in her backyard, with their daughter Beth smiling nearby, unaware of the gravity of the situation. Hope's eyes welled with tears, and her yes was a whisper that rang louder than thunder. But now comes the real test, informing his father, Bill Spencer. The guy who established an empire via brutal decisions and unwavering commitment, but whose heart softened only for his sons. Liam looked at his reflection in the glass elevator doors, his dark hair unkempt, his blue eyes piercing, the slight scar from the near-fatal shooting months before a reminder of how delicate life was. The bogus brain tumor fraud, contrived by that scheming Grace for a fast buck from Bill, was the spark. It had stripped away Liam's pretenses, forcing him to face what he had always known. Hope was his ultimate goal. The elevator dinged and opened to the executive floor, where Bill's office loomed like a king. Liam stepped out, nodding at the assistant, who was barely looking up from her tablet. "He's expecting you," she said quietly, as Liam pushed open the big oak doors without knocking. Bill Spencer sat behind his big desk, like a lion in rest, scrolling through financial papers with the nonchalant disregard of someone who controlled the narrative. Bill was still incredibly gorgeous at 68, with perfectly combed silver hair, a strong chin, and piercing blue eyes that matched Liam's. But there were new lines engraved around them, mementos from the never-ending Logan's versus Forrester's tale that had defined their existence. "Dad," Liam responded calmly, despite the butterflies in his gut. He crossed the room and sank into the leather chair opposite. Bill raised an eyebrow, his typical Spencer smirk flickering on his lips. "Well, if it isn't my prodigal son, to whom do I owe the pleasure? Another pitch for that eco-friendly nonsense at Forrester? Or are you here to tell me you've finally come to your senses about that Logan witch?" Bill's tone was joking, but there was a hint of genuine curiosity. Following the false scare, he was the one who pushed Liam to pursue happiness. "Life's too short, kid. Go after what you want." Liam bent down, elbows on knees, and pulled out the box. He flipped it open, displaying the diamond solitaire, elegant and ageless, with a single emerald-cut stone that reflected light like a captured star. Bill's eyes expanded slightly, the reports forgotten as he leaned back to comprehend. "I'm engaged," Liam simply stated, the words flowing out like a dam cracking. "To Hope." Again, she said yes. Silence hung heavy for a beat, thick like fog pouring in from the Pacific. Then Bill's face broke into a big, unguarded grin, the type that elevated him from entrepreneur to proud papa. He rose, taking 2 strides around the desk to draw Liam into a bare embrace, clapping his back with enough force to rattle ribs. "Engaged? To Hope, Logan? Hot damn, son. It's time you stopped daydreaming about what-ifs and made it happen." He drew back, grabbing Liam's shoulders, eyes gleaming. "I knew that little health scare would light a fire under you. Fake or not, it was the wake-up call we all needed. Tell me everything. How'd you do it?" On one knee in some candlelit Forrester Creations atelier. Liam laughed, the strain in his chest relaxing like air from a punctured tire. "Backyard, actually. Beth was chasing fireflies. It felt right. Simple. After everything, the custody battles, the Steffi drama, the endless back and forth. It was just us. A family. Bill nodded, his expression going serious as he returned to his chair, beckoning for Liam to follow suit. A family. Yeah, that's what you've always deserved. Not the half measures, not the triangles that leave everyone bleeding. Hope's a firecracker, I'll give her that. Stubborn as hell, but loyal to a fault. And after what she went through with that Carter Walton fool, well, good riddance. He couldn't handle the heat. Bill's voice dipped, filled with the same protectiveness but listen, kid. The Logans are a minefield. Brooks got her claws in Ridge again, no doubt stirring up trouble. And Deacon? That ex-gon's got his hands full with Sheila Carter's corpse-walking ass. You sure you're ready for round 3? Liam's jaw stiffened when she was mentioned. The woman was like a virus, infecting every aspect of their world. First Finn, then Deacon, and now slithering back into the margins with her so-called redemption narrative. But he put it aside. It was about joy, not darkness. I'm sure, Dad. More than ever. Hope and we've grown. Beth needs us together. And honestly, after thinking I was dying, priorities snap into focus. I love her. End of story. Bill raised his glass of scotch, pulled from a hidden decanter, in a mock toast. To love conquering all, or at least outlasting the Forresters' egos. You'll need a prenup thicker than War and Peace, but hell, I'll foot the bill for the wedding. Make it splashy, yacht off Monaco, celebrities dropping like confetti. The Spencers don't do subtle. As they talked, the conversation flowed like the scotch, warm, potent, laced with laughter and the occasional barb at Ridge Forrester's expense. Bill regaled Liam with stories of his own crazy engagements, which ended in flames but taught him lessons about resilience. Your mother's ghost would approve, Bill added softly, alluding to Caroline, Liam's deceased mother. She always said you had a heart too big for this cutthroat town. Liam swallowed hard, the moment emotional, bridging the gap between past wounds and future dreams. By the time Liam left, the sun had dropped beyond the horizon, leaving the city in shades of orange and purple. Bill's blessing felt firm and unyielding. Meanwhile, in the quieter, more eclectic suburb of Silver Lake, Hope Logan Sharp sat at her father's aged wooden kitchen table. The perfume of freshly made coffee mixed with a faint whiff of Thai takeout from the night before. Deacon's effort at a gourmet family meal. Hope's fingers pounded on her mug, the engagement ring catching the overhead light, a sparkling secret she was eager to reveal. But this wasn't simply ordinary announcement. It was packed with strategy. Deke, her half-brother, leaned against the counter, his lanky form dressed in a faded band tee and trousers, arms crossed in his signature blend of sarcasm and sincerity. Deke Sharp, 25, was the Sharp clan's wild card, tattooed, quick-witted, and with a moral compass that pointed true north even in Los Angeles's moral fog. Deacon Sharp hurried in from the living room, bearing a tray of mismatched pastries from the corner bakery. His salt and pepper hair was disheveled, and his smile was relaxed, but there was a tiredness in his eyes that Hope couldn't ignore. At 52, Deacon had rebuilt himself a dozen times, bartender, ex-con, restaurateur. But Sheila Carter had a way of undoing even his hard-earned stability. All right, kids, feast your eyes on these bad boys. Croissants so buttery, they'll make you forget your troubles. He set down the tray and sunk into a chair with a groan. What's with the powwow? You two look like you're plotting a heist. Hope exchanged a glance with Deke, who nodded quietly. She drew a breath, her voice clear but measured. Actually, Dad, it's good news. Really good. She extended her hand, the ring shining like a beacon. Liam proposed. Last night. And I said yes. Deacon's reaction was immediate, a cry of pleasure that rang off the walls, followed by his leaping from his seat to embrace Hope in a crushing hug. Holy hell, sweetheart. Engaged to Liam? That's perfect. After all the crap you've waded through, you deserve this. A real shot at the white picket fence, or at least the LA equivalent. He pulled back, grinning ear to ear, but his eyes searched hers, the father always intuiting more than words could express. Beth must be overjoyed, and Brooke? Katie? Do they know? Hope nodded, her cheeks flushed. We told the Logans last night. Tears, champagne, the works. Brooke's already planning the dress. Something sustainable, of course, for Hope for the future. She laughed, but it faded as she looked back at Deke. This was the transition they had practiced in low tones over the phone. But, Dad, we didn't just come to celebrate. We came because we love you, and we're concerned. Deacon's grin wavered, and his stance stiffened as he resumed his seat. Worried? About what? The wedding crashing Forresters? I'll handle Ridge. Give him a left hook from the good old days. But his joke fell flat, and he knew it. Deke pushed off the counter and pulled up a chair, his voice calm but forceful. It's Sheila, Dad. Again. Deke's words hit like stones in still water, sending ripples out. We saw you two at the Il Giardino reopening last week. The way she looks at you, like you're her lifeline. And yeah, maybe she's changed after that therapy stint with Taylor, but come on. The woman's got more bodies in her wake than a horror flick. Finn's still scarred, Steffi's paranoia is through the roof, and now she's cozying up to Lee over Luna? It's a powder keg. Hope approached, her hand covering Deacon's on the dining room bench. Her voice was gentle and pleading. We get it, Dad. Loneliness sucks. After Mom, after everything, you deserve someone who sees the good in you, not the chaos. But Sheila? She's poison wrapped in redemption. Remember what she did to you last time? The lies, the manipulations. And now, with Luna pregnant and that whole mess with Will and Electra, it's too much. You're better than this. Better than being her fallback when Deacon Sharp deserves the Real deal. Deacon's face grew darker. A storm cloud passed. He drew his hand away, not forcefully, but just enough to make space. Whoa, hold up. You two ambush me over pastries? Sheila's not perfect, far from it, but she's trying. Therapy with Taylor? That's progress. And Lee? They're bonding over Luna's kid, for God's sake. It's not all doom and gloom. He ran a hand through his hair, fury etching deeper creases. Look, I love you both more than anything, but my life's been a series of bad bets. Sheila, she's the one bet that feels like it might pay off, or at least not explode in my face right away. Deke shook his head, his tattooed forearm flexing as he motioned firmly. Progress? Dad, therapy's a start, but it's not a magic wand. She's got blood on her hands, literal blood. And you're the king of second chances. But this is playing with fire. Hope and I, we're not kids anymore. We see how she drains you. The late nights at the restaurant, covering for her errands. It's not love. It's a habit. A bad one. The kitchen was enveloped in a nervous silence that was only disturbed by the traffic outside, which was loud. Hope's heart ached, divided between delight at her engagement and grief over her father's blind spot. Deacon glanced at the table, the untouched croissant cracking beneath his careless poke. Sheila's wild laugh in the dim light of Il Giardino, her vulnerability during those Taylor sessions, and the way she mumbled apologies for previous transgressions all came flooding back to him. But behind it, worries gnawed. Anonymous information about her meeting dubious individuals, the way her gaze darted when Luna's name was mentioned. Was it redemption or just another scheme? Finally, Deacon sighed heavily and dejected. All right. Point taken. I'll talk to her. Set boundaries. But don't expect miracles. And hey, focus on you, Hope. Liam's a good man. Solid. Don't let my mess rain on your parade. He faked a smile, drawing her into another hug, then clapped Deke on the shoulder. Proud of you, kid. For calling me out. Now, eat something before I cry like a damn fool. As the topic switched to wedding plans, venues, guest lists, Beth's role as flower girl, the undercurrent of dread persisted. Hope looked at her father, seeing the man who had fought for redemption himself, now perched on the brink of another's abyss. Deke caught her eye, mouthing, "We'll get through it," and she nodded, clutching the sibling relationship like a lifeline. Back at Spencer Publications, Liam's phone vibrated with a text message from Hope, told Dad. He's thrilled. The intervention with Sheila went okay. Love you. He smiled and typed quickly, but his thoughts went to the larger web. Bill mentioned a fresh face in the halls. Could it be a new intern or something more sinister? And what about Steffi? Would she swallow her pride and bless this union, or would she unleash Forrester's fury? The day progressed as strands of life intertwined in the grand tapestry of Los Angeles drama. Brooke Logan Forrester paced the Forrester Creations design office, her red power suit contrasting with the neutral palettes of fabric swatches. Tomorrow's crown gem was the relaunch of Hope for the Future, a line inspired by her daughter's tenacity and featuring eco-fabrics and bright patterns that shouted empowerment. But Brooke's thoughts were elsewhere, on Hope's engagement, Ridge's current destiny, tugged toward Taylor, and the ever-present threat of Sheila stirring pots from a distance. "Ridge, darling," Brooke cooed as he walked in, the architect's precision visible in every tailored line of his suit. At 70, Eric Forrester's son remained the fashion world's idol, with silver temples framing a face sculpted by decades of passion and betrayal. "Have you heard? Hope and Liam engaged. Again." Her voice was a mix of maternal pride and cautious caution, knowing Ridge's attachment to Steffi was strong. Ridge's countenance softened, revealing a rare weakness that threatened his serenity. "I heard. From Steffi, she's processing. But it's good, Brooke. For Hope. For Beth. Liam's steady. He'll keep her grounded." He went to her, hands resting on her waist and tugging her close. "And us? Still dancing this eternal tango." Brooke snuggled against him, the familiar aroma of his cologne soothing. "Always, my love. But Sheila deepens in deep, and if she hurts him, it ripples to Hope. To all of us." Ridge nodded, his jaw hardening. He'd had a previous run-in with Sheila, and her schemes had almost destroyed his family. "Deacon's a big boy. But if she steps out of line, I'll handle it. Forrester style." Their kiss was fire and forgiveness, a reaffirmation in the midst of catastrophe. However, after Ridge went for a meeting, Brooke's thoughts became darker. Lee Finnegan, the steely surgeon, had been seen having lunch with Sheila, connecting over Luna's unexpected pregnancy. Luna Nozawa, formerly an innocent intern, is now a young mother-to-be ensnared in the Spencer web while carrying Will Spencer's kid. The controversy had multiple layers: Elektra's jealousy, Deke's budding affair with that mystery man Remy, and now this tenuous union between former enemies Lee and Sheila. Was it a genuine olive branch or a prelude to war? Across town, in the sterile glare of Cedars-Sinai's executive lounge, Lee Finnegan sipped herbal tea, her white coat thrown over a chair like a used skin. At 55, Lee was a fortress, with sharp features and an iron resolve, her dark hair tied back into a no-nonsense bun. But today, fissures appeared. Sheila Carter sat across from her, unexpectedly quiet in a plain black dress with her famed red hair styled into waves. The woman who had previously frightened Lee's son Finn was now an ally? Over Luna of all things. "She's scared, Lee," Sheila replied, her voice low and almost maternal. "My granddaughter. Our granddaughter, carrying Will's baby. The Spencers will circle like vultures, and Elektra's already sharpening her claws. But together, we can shield her." Lee's brows narrowed, doubt clashing with reluctant empathy. "Shield her? From what? Your track record." "I buried my grudges for Luna's sake, Sheila. Finn's finally healing. Steffi's walls are up. But they're up. Don't mistake this for friendship." But even as she spoke, Lee recalled their last conversation, the raw confessions over late-night coffee, Sheila admitting her therapeutic breakthroughs with Taylor Hayes. Viper vulnerability? It bothered her. Sheila leaned closer, her eyes shining with that familiar intensity. "Not friendship. Strategy. Deacon's pushing me to change, and damn if it isn't working. But Luna needs us. And who knows? Maybe in protecting her, we protect ourselves." Lee laid down her cup, the clink booming like a gavel. "Fine. Truce for now. But one slip, Sheila, and I'll dissect you myself." Sheila's laugh was real, bridging the gulf, however thin. As dusk approached, the city buzzed with unspoken tensions. Liam and Hope met at the cliffside park overlooking the ocean, Beth standing between them, her small hand swinging madly. The engagement ring felt like a talisman against the looming clouds. "Dad's on board," Liam said softly, kissing Hope's temple. "And yours." Hope moaned and leaned closer him, worried but supportive. "Deke and I tag-teamed the Sheila talk. It's planted the seed." Beth yanked on their hands, demanding ice cream, and laughing burst forth, a brief oasis. But in the shadows, Deacon met Sheila at Il Giardino, where the warm lights contrasted with the chill in his gut. "Kids cornered me today," he said over wine, his palm covering hers. "About us. About you." Sheila's smile wavered, then returned. "And what did you tell them?" he asked. "That you're worth the risk." But as he spoke, doubt crept in. Was love just another ruse in Los Angeles's never-ending game? The darkness deepened, with stars piercing the velvet sky. In Spencer Mansion, Bill poured a nightcap and solemnly toasted his son's future. Brooke and Katie discussed wedding details at the Logan's house, with Donna acting as a mediator through comedy. Deke texted Remy, nerves jangling from the next family meeting. Luna curled up with a sonogram snapshot, murmuring to her unborn kid in the midst of a storm. In a quiet therapy office, Taylor Hayes wrote down notes from her appointment with Deacon, considering the delicate dance of redemption. Sheila's improvement was real, as were the spirits. Finn and Steffi wrestled nightmares at home, their closeness serving as a shield from the past. October 29th faded, leaving behind echoes of delight and warning. Liam and Hope, entangled on a seat, watched the waves crash below. "Whatever comes," Hope said, "we'll face it together." "Together," Liam repeated, sealing it with a kiss. The leaked whispers of tomorrow's relaunch, the rising Sheila storm, and the knotted family vines all loomed. But in that moment, love was as relentless as the tide. However, drama in Los Angeles never slept. As midnight came, a shadowy figure entered Spencer Publications' garage. The fresh face Bill had indicated, briefcase in hand, eyes gleaming with intent. Who was she? Ally or adversary? The answer hovered just out of view. Deacon, alone after Sheila had departed, gazed at his phone. Hope's text message read, "Love you, Dad. Be cheerful." He typed back, then deleted, "Settling on you too, kid. Always." But sleep denied him, tormented by what-if scenarios. Lee scanned patient information, Luna's chart open, her thoughts focused on the youngster who bound foes. "Stay strong, little one," she said quietly. Ridge and Brooke made love in their Malibu retreat with the fervor of lovers who had lost so much. "Promise me," Brooke cried, "no more triangles." "Promise," he lied, or thought he did. Deke and Remy were at a dive bar, laughing over beers, the new boyfriend's effortless charm a balm. "Family's nuts," Deke said. Remy smiled. "Keeps it interesting." Beth, dreaming of princesses, held a painting of Mommy and Daddy's wedding. In her dimly lit apartment, Sheila glanced at a hidden photo, old and fading, of a time before the madness. "Change," she muttered into the empty room. Or chaos. The clock chimed 12. October 29th bowed to the unknown, the bold, and the beautiful world turning on axes of heartbreak and pain. In the days that followed, the engagement news spread like a stone in a pond. Steffi Forrester Spencer, the ice queen in fur-trimmed outerwear, approached Liam in the Forrester gym, sweat glistening on her brow after a punishing treadmill run. Engaged? To Hope?